Hello, Virgo. Welcome to your May connection session. I am Princess India. If you're new and if you're family, welcome back, my friend. And what's not on, what's have us. So, anywho, we're going to go ahead and jump in and look at the energy between you as well as a person of interest. And then we're going to get into a more specific spread where we're going to look at how this person of interest, alrighty, thinks as well as feels about you. Let's see here. That flew out. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pull the cards for your other spread for continuity and whatnot or whatever. Okay. Wait, that's too many. Don't do that. This one. All right. So let's see here. So the card representing my Virgos for the month of May, we have, cover up some boobs here. We have the sun in the reverse. And that is Leo energy. So what is looking like Virgos? The sun in the reverse is my half-hearted happiness card. So more or less with you guys presently, I feel in reference to this particular person, it's like, you like them, you think they're cool, but it's not really 100% like, if you think about your ideal person, it's almost kind of being in a position where you're kind of settling for less than you deserve. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the word to say. It's kind of like settling. You know what I mean? It's like when you think about what it is that you really want or what your ideal partner is, this person isn't quite measuring up. Now, what this could be is that in an external sense, like from the outside looking in, it's ideal. Typically, when I see an energy like this, it's usually because like a person, looks good like on paper. So like literally in an external sense. So it's, what they do for a living or, what their interests are or, how much money they make or whatever, it's very superficial things. It's kind of when you compare you to this person, like it looks really dope because of, like the external presentation, right? But when it comes down to like those inner working things, like feeling cared about, feeling loved, feeling, supported, feeling like, you can trust this person, believing this person has your best interest at heart, like those things are lacking. Or it very well could be in the reverse, to where, with the emotional connection and all of those things, like all the intangible things, those are on par. But externally, this person doesn't necessarily fit what it is that you're, looking for. So to give like a silly kind of example of that is like, you meet a person, you feel like they're your ideal person, but, they're unemployed and homeless. You know what I'm saying? But on a deeper level, you guys have all of the things in common. You have great conversation, but, they don't have no job, right? So it's kind of like that contrast to where how you're feeling towards this person, you're not truly fulfilled, whether that's, internally, you know what I'm saying, like the intangibles in this connection, or it's externally, right? Now, your person of interest, interesting, is showing up as the Knight of Chalices. And this card in this deck is very much about, self-love. It's like prioritizing yourself, making yourself a priority. Now, this, of course, is in relation to you. So with this particular person, I feel they're on this journey and kind of beginning this in a sense, and them more or less seeing you as someone who's kind of already there. And that very well could be this difference between the two of you. And I'm going to use this example. I hope I don't show y'all my leg. Hold on. I'm trying to get comfortable. But to give you guys kind of an example of this, like say if we were speaking about like spirituality, right? So say that, you're like a Reiki master teacher. You've been studying spirituality for like, 10, 15 years, right? So this isn't new stuff to you. This is very much like a part of your life. Like this is who you are. But this person, like, just got woke yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So they're nowhere near where it is that you are spiritually. You know what I'm saying? So they're seeing you kind of like as this master, like this person who knows all of the things or whatever, but you're seeing this contrast. Now, your desire, and mind you, I'm just using this as an example, not saying this is how people should approach things with spirituality, but your personal desire was to be with someone who was on the same spiritual level as you, to where you're not taking on the role as like mentor or teacher or having to show them how to deal with things. It's like having someone who is an equal, right? To where, you know, if you're going through something, you know, you could come to this person and they can give you wise counsel, right? So I feel it almost in the context of like, this is the role that you typically play with everyone, where you're the person who knows the most in the room. So when people have challenges and stuff, they have a tendency to go to you for guidance, right? But I feel like with a romantic relationship, that's what you were hoping for. You know what I mean? Is to have a person who's an equal. So in this particular facet of your life, you're able to be like weak if you need be, you know what I mean? And have this person who, you know, knows as much as you, knows a little more than you, to where they could give you like guidance and advice, right? But I feel like with your person of interest, they know that there is a difference. So whatever path Virgo is on of self-betterment, I feel that your person of interest is on a similar path. I just feel that they're leaps and bounds kind of behind you guys. And I feel what you were hoping for, which is where this half-hearted happiness would come from. What you were hoping for was a person that was on your level, but this person isn't. Now, of course, this energy signature can translate to a myriad of different things. You know, this could be, you know, you guys very well established in your career and your person of interest, like, you know, just going back to college for what it is that they want to do. You know what I mean? Or you being more financially stable and your person of interest just starting to you know, begin to do things to get them in the direction of financially stable. You paid off your student loans, they're just starting to pay on their student loans. You know, I feel that there's some contrast like that. And for what it is that you guys were desiring in a romantic partner was for a person to be where you guys are. And that's where I feel that half-hearted happiness is coming from. Now, the energy between the two of you is the Eight of Swords. Now, the thing with this is, much like what I was just saying, I feel with your person of interest, there is a level of insecurity that they feel. Because like I said, they're aware of this, you know, huge gap between the two of you. But I can say that your person of interest, they are looking at you as, I don't want to say like as a savior per se. I don't want to say like it's that deep, but I feel it's like whatever Virgo is in possession of, what you do, or like you symbolize something for this person, and what it is that they're like, where they're working to get to. They're seeing you, and I don't mean this in a sense of like they're trying to use you or anything, but I feel like they see you as like a vehicle to get them there, but not in the context like they're trying to use you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, if we go back to the thing of Virgo being financially well off, it's like if Virgo is very well off financially and you own several businesses, and this person desires to be financially well off and own several businesses, it's like looking at the fact like, oh, wow, like Virgo would be able to help me on how to start my LLC, or, you know, how to, you know, file a trademark, or how to like publish my book. But like I said, the dynamics is very much like teacher student type of deal. And I feel where this kind of mental block that's happening between the two of you from your person of interest, I feel it's coming more from a place of insecurity and like measuring up. You know what I'm saying? It's like them putting a lot of pressure on themselves because they know there's this difference, but like putting this pressure on themselves where like, I can't fail at this, right? Like if I'm going to start this business, I really have to start this business. This business has to be successful because I need to like, you know, measure up to what Virgo is kind of doing. But I feel this mental conflict on you guys' end is more in the sense of like, this isn't really what I wanted. I like them. They're a great person, but this isn't really what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, am I wrong for feeling that? Am I a bad person for feeling that? Should I look past this? Am I asking for too much? That's kind of the things I feel are swimming around in your mind. But like I said, with your person, it's more or less coming from a place of insecurity for them. And we're about to get into the more specific spread, but the only thing I would say that's a little concerning with this is a lot of times when we start a new path, like we could think, like, even if I were to use myself as an example, when I very first, started graduate school to be a therapist, I started out in marriage and family therapy and I was like hardcore CBT, right? Like I felt like cognitive behavioral therapy was the bee's knees. Like there was no other therapeutic modality that was better than that. I'm gonna, straight CBT and systems theory, marriage and family therapy, right? But midway through my program, it's like I took, DSM-5. Well, it was 4 at the time, and then 5 came out. But I took the DSM course and Gestalt therapy, and that completely shifted my perspective. And then when I took spirituality and counseling, that completely shifted my perspective to where I started seeing all of these connections, like via systems theory, and seeing all of these connections between spirituality, which I've studied for years, and like therapy. You know what I'm saying? And that completely changed the trajectory that I took, with therapy and totality, hence why we're here on the Tarot Therapy channel, right? So all of that completely transformed. Now that's something that happens with all of us. It's like we go into something with a preconceived notion, and then we end up having some sort of epiphany or learning more about ourselves, and that offers us like specificity with our particular path, where we end up going deeper into something or end up changing trajectories entirely. You know what I'm saying? And I say that to say, like, with your person of interest, I feel with them, like this 8 of Swords has them kind of boxed in reference to you, because since they feel this energy of almost having to prove themselves in a sense, or prove themselves, like prove to show themselves like worthy of Virgo, it limits their options. So like that freedom I use in my example in graduate school, if I were to be in a situation like your person of interest is in, like say hypothetically I'm dating a dude that's a marriage and family therapist who, specializes in systems theory, and when he does individual therapy, he's diehard CBT. Then when I take DSM, and get obsessed with, pathologies and things of the sort, or took Gestalt therapy, I wouldn't, or, taking spirituality and counseling, I wouldn't really allow that to take root like it did and influence me, because I need to stay on this path of marriage and family therapy and CBT, because, my boyfriend is a marriage and family therapist who practices CBT with individual therapy, so I'm not really going to fraternize over into, pathological conditions and, all this other kind of stuff. I'm going to stay focused on this because I need to walk this narrow tightrope in order for me to stay in alignment with Virgo. You feel what I'm saying? That's kind of the position that I feel your person of interest is in. And of course, Virgo, this is of no fault of your own. It's just, this is the decision this person is making. But what this kind of tells me about this person is that they have a tendency to live vicariously through people that they're with. You know what I'm saying? And I see this a lot where they'll start taking on characteristics of people that they're dating, or morphing themselves to mirror more of the person that they're with. And that's really because their sense of self, their personality and stuff like that isn't like strongly rooted. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say this, but it's kind of like pick me energy, to be honest, where it's like I have some sort of a sense of self a little bit, but I'm more defined. And honestly, this is very like South Node Libra energy. Like if a person has their South Node, well, their North Node or whatever. Well, no, their South Node. Their South Node in Libra. I said it right the first time. If a person's South Node is in Libra and their North Node, of course, would be like in Aries, that's a struggle bus type of thing that a lot of South Node Libra people have, where it's like a codependency and you kind of identifying yourself in relation to like your partner. You know what I'm saying? Like your partner's an attorney. Now you want to go back to school to like be a paralegal or something like that, because there's like this fear of stepping out and being your own person. So it's very much like hiding behind your partner or gathering your identity from your partner. And that's like an issue that this person has that predates you. You know what I'm saying? Where they have not fully stepped into who they are as an individual. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little something to watch out for. Now, getting into our more specific spread, we're starting out with their fleeting thoughts and their conscious thoughts. The first card out is, let me cover up that boob. We have the Four of Pentacles. Then we have one of my little karmic cards. We have the Four of Chalices in the reverse. Interesting. Then we have boob. We have the Five of Cuppies. This is interesting. And then in their conscious thoughts towards you, oh goodness, we have the Chariot. That is Cancerian energy. That is my sneaking out the backdoor card in this deck. So here is the thing with this Four of Pentacles here, very much so, this is very much coming from a place of a lack mentality for your person of interest. It's more or less them seeing you. They're seeing Virgo very much rooted and grounded in what you believe, what you want in life, and things of the sort. And with them, it still kind of plays on this insecurity with them, because their perception of themselves is very, they are less than, right? So it's almost like their perception is needing to like kind of tiptoe. And I don't know, Virgo, if, because Gemini's reading from the end of April, their connection session from April and their soul session, I believe, for May, that's been coming up for a lot of signs. But now that I'm sitting here, it's like I'm wondering if I said something similar for y'all too, with your connection session in April. If I did, let me know in the comments. But it's coming to my mind of like, because I remember Gemini was similar to this, but I know it was another sign that had something similar, where it's like this person, a lot of pressure that's on them. You know what I mean? Of them trying to like prove themselves to you in so many words. But it's like how it is that they're seeing you is very much committed to whatever it is that you got going on, Virgo. They see you very much committed into that. They see you very much grounded in that, and that being what pretty much takes up the most of your time. I mean, this could even be like you being a parent, if I could say it that way. It's because, like, you know, you being a parent, like say this person doesn't have kids, you're very dedicated and committed to your kids, spend a lot of time with your kids, but you being firmly rooted in that, to where them not necessarily seeing that changing about you because it's a constant. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're an earth sign. That's to be expected. Whatever it is that you're doing, you doing it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's more or less whatever it is that you guys are committed to. This provokes a sense of insecurity in them, because it's always this constant comparison trap of them seeing like, oh, you know, Virgo went to, I don't know, 3 different networking events or whatever. I didn't go to any networking events because I don't network. And now when Virgo is talking about these networking events, it's them feeling this pressure to have something to talk about so that, you know, it's connected somehow. But again, I don't really feel that. I mean, y'all are already in y'all headspace about, is this really for me type of deal. So I don't necessarily think that Virgo is even thinking about this on their side, but with this person, it's very much them kind of like tiptoeing with how it is that they're dealing with you. And if you did notice this, it would kind of be annoying. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I feel like I was saying before. If this was you guys, and I'm not confusing you with Gemini's reading from April, but it was kind of like how the person is kind of annoying. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I experienced something like that before, like me too, me too. And it's just like, okay, like I was just telling you about the thing. You know what I'm saying? But coming into this Four of Cups in the reverse, with this person, they're feeling like there's kind of like a block between the two of you, or like, thank you, guides. My guide said wall. They're feeling like there's kind of a wall between the two of you that they can't necessarily get past, right? Now, if this is actually real or imagined, if this was to be real, I feel like this wall would be coming from the fact of this half-hearted happiness that you have in reference to this, of this person not necessarily 110% being what it is that you're desiring and being kind of on the fence about that. But if you're not putting up a wall in reference to that, I would feel like with this is still going back to this Four of Pentacles. It's like this person's own self-perceived like inadequacies in so many words. And Virgo being so, grounded or far advanced in whatever it is that you do, Virgo, or however it is that you're living, that's really pinging on that insecurity that this person is feeling, right? And then where this gets even more weird is with my Virgos, I feel that there is a past relationship with you guys. I don't know if it's an ex-wife, ex-husband, or if you had a kid with this person. I do remember that. I do remember from you guys connection session in April. I think it was something to do with you guys having kids or something like that. But anyway, but if you have a kid with this person or something like that, or lived with this person or were with this person for an extended period, I feel another facet of this comparison trap. This person got a lot going on, child. Another facet of this comparison trap is like with this past person and them having like a sense of fear that you aren't over that person, right? So the thing that gets a little creepy about this is I don't doubt for a second, like, because this person is so insecure about themselves, it's almost like like they have a heightened sense of things, right? Like they're very consciously aware to where if you're if you don't text them at a specific time, or if you don't call them at a specific time, or if you guys go out to dinner and you're not speaking as much as usual, it's like they have this very heightened, sense, or like they're very hyper vigilant in a sense, to where when one minor thing changes, like, and I mean on Virgo's end, it could literally be you're just not having the best day in America, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or you're just not as chatty today. It's like they have this heightened sense where they notice like the tiniest shift, to where they're like, well, what's going on? Is everything okay? Like, are you fine? Are you sure? And again, that's coming from their place of insecurity. But at the same time, that same heightened sense of them being like so I can't think of the dang word. It's like them just being so heightenedly aware of like shifts in the environment or shifts in your behavior. That same thing is translated to like their comparison with themselves and other people, which, like I said, where any past person that you guys have that they know about, I feel like this person continuously, and I said this with another sign too. I think it actually was Gemini this month, where they can literally compare themselves to your exes, right? So I wouldn't put it past this person, like, if you ever told them your ex's name, or showed them their social media or something, they probably remembered that screen name, child, and go back and look at the person and kind of compare themselves to them. And what I was saying with Gemini is like them making sure that everything that you said was like shitty about your past person, them putting pressure on themselves to like not be that, like if you're like, oh, every time, I went to networking events, It's like my partner always like, well, where were you and who were you with? Well, what did you guys eat? What did you do there? What did you talk about? Right. So they're like taking a mental note of that, and they're like, okay, check. Whenever they go to networking events, never ask where did they go, never ask who they were with, never ask about what they ate or what they talked about there. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say this comes off as like a very pick me kind of energy, because in essence, if you don't know what a pick me is, a pick me is someone where they are devoid of a personality. You know what I mean? They actually have one, but it's like they suppress it because their whole thought is, I want to be chosen and picked by someone. So whatever that person is into, now I'm into that too. They like football. I love football. You know what I'm saying? If I love sushi and they think sushi is disgusting, I also think sushi is disgusting. Who wants to eat raw fish? That's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? So it's like who they are and what they're into is constantly shifting based on who they're with because they want to be chosen. But I always say the downside of that is when a person is choosing you on the context of, you mirror reflecting them, they're not really choosing you. They're really choosing themselves in you because that's what you're, projecting to the person. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, very well, like I said, with this sun in the reverse, Virgo could be picking up on these like nuances of things, but you may not just know how to verbalize it. It's like you could be feeling like something is just kind of off about this person, but I just can't put my finger on it. But we have so much in common, but something is just off. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Comment below if that's what you're feeling, Virgo. But anywho, but in their conscious thoughts, being the Chariot here, and this is what they're literally aware of because all of this is information that they're weighing. You know what I'm saying? Am I good enough? Why do they have a wall up? Are they still into their ex? Like, this is all the stuff they're thinking about, all hella insecure thoughts. But what they're consciously aware of is them being afraid that you're going to leave them, right? It's like this person feels so insecure that the constant fear in the back of their head is like, I cannot mess up. And I literally feel like this is what I said to y'all in April. It's like, I can't mess up. And it's them feeling like they have to kind of keep up walking this tightrope in order to keep you around, because it's like, God forbid, if they see my faults or my flaws or XYZ about me, they're instantly going to become disinterested. You know what I'm saying? So their thought is you're going to leave them eventually. Like, that's literally how it is that they're seeing you. And that, like I said, this is their perception. It may not be the truth, but that's literally what's guiding their behavior every day. Like, what's influencing their behavior is them trying to prevent you sneaking out the back door on them. You know what I'm saying? And that's like an inner battle that they have going on, And it's not to say that Virgo is literally like, plotting and planning to leave this person, but that's what their fear is. And a lot of times, dude, like when people do this is like how people single-handedly destroy relationships, like how they self-sabotage them, because all of your behavior is you trying to prevent something that may never even happen. And by default, you end up causing it to happen. Like, that's what self-sabotage is, like you have abandonment issues and you're afraid of a person leaving you. So you end up becoming super controlling, where it's like, where you at, who you with, right? So you're doing all of that. And when you're constantly like, where you at, who you with a person, that's like, oh my gosh, it's off-putting. So that causes a person to push away, and eventually they distance themselves from you because of that behavior. And you end up creating the main thing that you didn't want, And that's very much what it is I'm seeing with this person. They got some personal work that they need to do, child. I'm just saying. But anywho, their subconscious impression, oh my. Let me cover up the boobs. We have the Empress, that is Libra and Taurus energy. So with this particular person, like, dude, I would say who it is that they are on the inside, like their real personality, like they're literally a really great person. They have a lot of great, traits. They have a lot of great, personality skills, all the things, right? They have a lot of great things going for them. However, they don't see themselves as that. Now, where this comes into the projection, which is so interesting, all of the dope things that this person thinks that they see in you, not saying that you're not dope, Virgo, but it's like all of the good qualities that they feel that they see in you, this really exists in them, but they're not able to see it. So this is the thing that's interesting. For a lot of people this person has been with, they've been projecting their inner empress onto other people, right? And trying to live vicariously through people, right? And trying to be like these people, but they actually have this within them. They've just never done the work to really cultivate it. So that says to me that somewhere in this person's life path, something that they've been through, how they were raised, whatever, caused this person to be like morbidly insecure and see themselves as not good enough, right? Not having anything good to contribute or offer. Like their perception of themselves would be very much Empress in the reverse, right? So their coping mechanism for that is people that they see out in the world that represent like, the ideal person or what they would aspire to be. Those are the types of people that they connect themselves with. You know what I'm saying? And they're constantly putting pressure on themselves to mirror this particular person because they feel they'll get their empress status by being like or being this, if it's that creepy, literally being that person. You know what I'm saying? Or working to be a counterpart of that person. But the sad part about this is that standard is consistently changing with every single new person that it is that they're dating. But the person's never actually taken the time to cultivate this or see this within themselves because their core belief is that that's not there, right? I'm nothing, I'm nobody, I'm not talented, I don't have anything to offer, right? So the only thing that I really have to offer is being more like my partner or being like my friend or whatever the case, whoever it is that they're emulating, right? Now, the good thing about this is the Empress upright. So with this being in their subconscious, they have an opportunity to see this in themselves, but not by any means am I saying, Virgo, that you're supposed to be the person to help them see that. You know what I'm saying? It's not a requirement for you to be, a catalyst for that. It's not a requirement for you to save a person from themselves, right? Like this is something that they have to come to within themselves. And it's really a question of you asking yourself if this is something that you want to deal with. And I literally feel like this is what I was telling you guys last month. Like you seriously have to ask yourself, like, is this something that you want to really fraternize with? You know what I'm saying? Because it could be very annoying, with this person just mirroring you and kind of following behind you like a little lapdog. You feel what I'm saying? But with this person, they do have really great potential within themselves. It's just that they have to do some personal work to be able to get past whatever it is that made them think that they weren't enough, because they're literally seeing their dopeness in other people. Like they have the ability to see everyone else's great potential, but they're not allowing themselves to see that in themselves because they don't believe that they actually are in possession of it, right? Now, their feelings towards you, oh my God, cover this up. We have the King of Pentacles in the reverse. Dog, that is so sad. So legit, dude, their feelings towards you are very much like, how can I say this? Like barren? Not saying their feelings toward you are barren, but I mean in the sense of them feeling like your feelings towards them are barren, because it's like, what could they like about me? That goes back to what their subconscious impression is. What could they like about me? I don't have anything to offer. How can I keep their attention? How can I keep their eyes on me? It's like, oh, I failed out of my business class. I can't tell this to Virgo because Virgo is now going to be disinterested in me. But the thing I'm saying with this is interesting. Like I was saying a few minutes ago, I don't believe that you guys have any idea, because of, you guys being on the fence about this person, of if this is really what you want. I don't even think that you guys have really put the time in to even think about, where their headspace is. Dang it. Did my computer do it again? Yes, it did. Oh my gosh. Dang nabbit. Dang nabbit. Hold on, guys. Wait a minute. My computer is so mean to me. We gonna pray. We gonna pray that I get this new laptop, y'all. I love how it used to just like go wonky and like shut off like right in the middle. But I love how when I'm always on the last card is when my computer is just like, you know what? No, not anymore. But anyway, but with this King of Pentacles in the reverse, it's almost like feeling that your emotions for them are in like a deficit. But like I said, it's coming from this Empress in their subconscious. It's their inherent perception of themselves like not being enough. You know what I'm saying? So I feel even this is influenced to where of them seeing you as like I said with this four of chalices in the reverse, like there's a wall there you're holding back, there's like an inconsistency like with you, but it's not them seeing that as it's just coming from you. It's feeling that this deficit in the emotional space is coming from their own lack, in so many words. So it's like, Virgo is sometimey with me because I'm not enough, because I'm sometimey. I need to be more consistent. So it's almost in a sense of them feeling like the connection between the two of you is in a deficit, but it's not just because, you don't love them just because or don't like them just because. They feel all of this goes back to them not being enough. So the thought is like the connection between the two of you would be more abundant, it would be more fruitful, and it would be more consistent when they are, in so many words. So the interesting thing about this would be a person who very much sees love like in a transactional sense of like very conditional. So almost like they deserve like less, right? They deserve less love. They don't deserve, you know, commitment or 100% attention from you or gifts or anything like that. Like they in a sense feel they deserve the bare minimum until they're good enough to get all of the love from you. So if your love is fleeting and inconsistent and things of the sort, they're feeling as if they deserve that because they're not good enough yet, but they're working to be good enough, and you'll, love them fully when they're good enough. Now, the thing with this is concerning. You know what I'm saying? Virgo, I don't tell y'all what to do. I just tell you what's going on. Being with a person like this is concerning because their self-worth and value is forever waning. Like this person doesn't have a consistent foundation sense of self. You know what I'm saying? Like their sense of self is contingent upon, I don't want to say achievement, but it's almost like their life is centralized around gaining your approval in a sense. But mind you, I don't feel that you guys are even seeing things that way. But again, going back to this power dynamic between the two of you, what we're really speaking about here is going back to the sun in the reverse. If your desire was to be with a person that is an equal, you know what I'm saying, versus someone where it's like they have a lot of growth space, you really have to ask yourself, is this what you're signing up for? Is this what you really want? You know what I'm saying? Because what this person is dealing with, it's a lot deeper. Like they got issues. Let me just say it that way. They have issues that they really need to work on, because I'm not really hearing anything in the context, like projecting this into the future of where this could go. It's like I'm just seeing this kind of like as a constant, almost to where Virgo would feel forever trapped in this situation, almost to the point where if you ever wanted to leave, like you would feel guilty and bad for leaving because, and that's the word, thank you. It's like you would pity this person. It's like you would stay with them and not break up with them because you pity them, and you wouldn't be staying because you really want to be with them. It's like you feel bad for them in a sense. And I don't think anybody wants to be in a connection like that. You know what I'm saying? But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. This is fascinating. You know what I'm saying? A part of me, let me see. Let me pull some of these love oracles, child, because this is something. But this does remind me of last month, dude. I feel like it was a couple of connection sessions where it was just personalities like this. Let me see. Okay. What is this? Two of them. Seduction, attraction, flirting, dating, hooking up, temptation, third party interference, kisses, unconditional loving, giving, and receiving, affection, and falling in love. This is interesting. What's funny for seduction to come up is in this Empress card, there's a giant snake that's behind the Empress. And that was kind of like the thing that was ringing in my mind when I was looking at that was like temptation, you know? And what this kind of says to me is, Virgo, how you may have potentially ended up with this person is it may have been kind of like a seduction type of thing, like where either they led with like sex, you know what I'm saying, or literally seduced you, you know what I'm saying. And that could kind of be the connecting factor between the two of you, where it's like steamy hot loving you guys got going on. And that's another thing that's a little concerning for me because if a person's kind of leading with that, that's usually people that I find make love and sex synonymous. So it's kind of like if a person is having sex with me, that means that they love me type of thing, or how it is that I express love is through like sex. You know what I'm saying? And that is the byproduct of deeper implications, like childhood kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just a whole smorgasbord of things that it's the end of your reading, child. I ain't trying to lecture y'all on all of that, but it's a person who sex and love are synonymous. You know what I'm saying? And how it is they connect with people, like they don't really like, it's a distortion of intimacy. Let me say it that way. Because when people hear intimacy, people instantly think about sex, but that's not at all what intimacy is. I mean, it's a part of it, but you don't need to have sex to have intimacy with someone. But it's like a distortion of that concept. So they don't really know how else to get a person's attention or to connect with a person other than like sexually. You know what I'm saying? And looking at this kisses card with it speaking about unconditional love and giving and receiving and all of that, this is saying to me, like, this person in particular, how it is that, like, it's almost for them, sex would be the bridge for them to get to unconditional love and intimacy and all of those things. You know what I'm saying? But not really understanding that true definition of intimacy, emotional availability, vulnerability, things of the sort. All of the things that this person would not be, right? Because of them being so fearful of like you seeing their true self or whatever, or feeling like they need to walk this narrow little tightrope. You know what I'm saying? In order to like be what it is that you want, or mirror reflect to you what it is that you're expecting. Well, I can't even say what you're expecting of them, but what they think you expect of them. They're not being open and vulnerable and honest. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very superficial type of way that they're dealing, and it's not in the sense that they're being manipulative or a liar. It's just the thought of them being morbidly insecure and feeling like this is the only method they know to get some sort of a connection with a person. So what they're wanting at the end of all of this is wanting to be in love, wanting this deep connection, but it's almost like Seven of Swords kind of energy where they're trying to like cheat the system. It's like instead of going through the proper process of opening up and being vulnerable, and that's how you get to that intimacy and love that you desire, it's like them trying to get in through the back door, if you will. So I would say for Virgos, this is like, I don't know, this is red flag city for me. I feel like this is something you kind of want to be cognizant of, but I think what would behoove you guys is really taking a step back and thinking about what it is that you really want in a romantical partner. And if this isn't it, it's not really fair to yourself to settle for less than you deserve. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, that's been your connection session, Virgo. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, I love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than later, my friends. And what